Hi, who's ready for makeup? Hi guys! So today I thought I would do a fun little tutorial on how to fill in eyebrows and how to shape them up the way that you'd like. There are 3 techniques that I'd like to introduce today, and I'm sure you've all used them or heard them before. The first one is with an eyebrow pencil, the second is with an eyebrow gel, and the third is with a dip brow. First, I'm going to start with the ABH Brow Wiz. This is just your typical standard brow pencil. And what I'm going to do is fill in using the actual pencil part of the product. And then once I'm done, I'm going to blend out the product with the spoolie. I'll first begin by taking the spoolie end of the product and just kind of shaping up my eyebrow and getting the eyebrow hairs in the general direction that I'd like for them to go. I've always had this problem where the inner portion of my right eyebrow is kind of bald, so I've already filled it in a little bit because it just looks kind of weird without any product in it. So it might not look completely different, but we'll see. So then I'll take the actual pencil part of the product and starting at the middle region of my brow, a little bit more towards the center compared to the arch of my eyebrow, I will carry most of the product through the middle all the way to the tail of my eyebrow, and then with the spoolie I'll blend in, and then from there I'll just very lightly fill in into the inner portion of my eyebrow, and this is to create an ombre effect. So starting at the middle, I'm just very lightly putting product into the center of my eyebrow, and then carrying that into the tail. And it's okay if you don't get the perfect shape that you want when you're applying the actual product, because what we'll do is take concealer and clean it up so we get the perfect shape. And here I am, just carefully and lightly placing product towards the inner portion of my eyebrow. And then at this point, I'm going very lightly to achieve that ombre effect. And then just filling in little spots very lightly in the inner portion of my eyebrow. And then with a more firm tip towards the inner portion of my eyebrow. And then once you have the amount of product that you want in your eyebrows, you can take the spoolie and very softly move the product evenly throughout your brow for a more natural effect. So here on my right eyebrow, we use the brow pencil, and after putting the product on my eyebrow, we can start shaping with concealer. Today I'm using the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in shade C1. I forgot to mention, the Anastasia Brow product shade that I use for all products is medium brown. What I like to do is, instead of directly applying the product with the applicator, I like to take a very thin, small defined brush and just very lightly dipping into the product on the applicator, just very lightly. We don't need too much, especially if you already have makeup on your eyebrows. So taking the product in the brush, I'm going to very lightly apply the product directly underneath the brow in a pretty straight line, and then curving at the arch of my eyebrow and then following the natural tail of my brow. And with whatever remaining product I have, I will then go above my brow and follow the natural line of my eyebrow. I don't like to use too much product above my eyebrow because it will look a little weird if you have any kind of contour around this region and then you suddenly have a very light line above your brow. Now with my finger, I'm just going to lightly blend in above my brow, And then with my brush, I'm going to go downwards, smoothing out and evening the amount of product underneath my brow, making sure I have that defined line that I want with my brow. I would like to mention that you shouldn't really go upwards with any kind of concealer product, because then it's really hard to try and get that out of your brow, and then you have to reshape again with your brow product. And so it's a lot easier to apply and then move down with your brush. I'm being very mindful of the eyeshadow on my eyes. Typically in my normal routine, I will do my brows first, and then I'll prime my eyelids and then apply eyeshadow. But today, I didn't want to scare anybody by not wearing much makeup, so as you can see, there is a difference between my two brows. So on this side, I have the brow pencil, and then this side, there's just a little bit of brow pencil from earlier when I didn't want to walk around with very, very sparse eyebrows. So this side definitely has more product, and you can see that it has more of a defined structure and shape to it compared to my more natural brow. I do prefer to use the brow pencil when I want to achieve a more natural brow. The other brow products produce more product in your eyebrow, so it's a very defined shape in comparison to the more natural shape and definition that you achieve with the brow pencil. So on my left eyebrow, I will be using the Dip Brow Gel. Again, this is Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it is still in medium brown. I do recommend the eyebrow gel for when you're wanting a more on-the-go, quick and easy way to define your eyebrows. With the Brow Wiz or just your brow pencil and a dip brow, you have to be a lot more careful and steady with your hand, especially when you're applying, because with those two products, you're going to actually apply it on your skin compared to the gel, which you're just kind of more applying to the eyebrow hairs. So with the gel product, I do normally use the gel and then fill in with the pencil. You can do either filling in with the pencil and the gel, or just the gel by itself. So what I'm going to do is just show the gel by itself. And what I like to do is, again, just as I did with the right side, I'll start with more product in the center of my brow, following the tail. And then I'll very lightly apply the product into the inner portion of my eyebrow. I know some people like to kind of flare up their eyebrow hairs. I'm not really a fan of that with my own eyebrows, but it's a lot easier to use the gel to flare up your eyebrow hair compared to the other products. And as you can see, there's a few clumps when you use the gel, and that can just easily be spoolied out. What you can also do is use a clean spoolie, or what I'm going to do now is use the spoolie from my brow pencil. And I'm just going to evenly distribute the product throughout the rest of my eyebrow, while keeping in mind that I want the inner portion to be a little bit lighter than the middle and outer portion of my eyebrows. As you can see here, if you press too hard on a particular clump of product, it will kind of streak in your eyebrow, which may not be the most pleasant appearance, but at least you're getting the product throughout your eyebrows. It does make cleanup a little bit harder though. Because I lightly applied the gel product, as you can tell, this side, it's definitely lighter in comparison to using the actual brow pencil, and that's just how I applied it. If you want a more darker appearance, you can most certainly have a firmer hand and apply more product as you go. Now, again, what we did with the brow pencil, we're going to shape up and clean up using the concealer, again with the same Makeup Revolution concealer in shade C1. Okay, so again, oh, I might have too much product. There we go. So here we are, creating that line and definition that we want. and then with a little bit of product. And I do have a little bit more product than I did with the brow pencil when I was shaping above my brow. That's totally fine. You can still use your finger and blend out. Now, I don't know if you can see on camera. I think you can. I'm looking in the monitor. Right here, this is a bit of product fallout, and this is a little bit harder to try and remove. That's one of the reasons why I don't use brow gels as often. Now maybe it's just this particular product, maybe it's all gels, I'm not really sure. My preference is the dip brow, but I'll explain that more when we get to it. Now I'm not paying too much attention to making sure the shape of my eyebrows match. We like twins, not sisters. And so I'm just trying to show the technique rather than identical structure. In my normal routine, I am very serious about having twin eyebrows, twin eyeliner. So as you can see, there are two different types of structure and amount of product that you can apply to your eyebrows to achieve the exact pigmentation and shape and structure that you want your eyebrows to be. Now this may change depending on if you want a more everyday look, if you're wanting more fierce glam. Either way, both products work very well. So for the final look, I'm going to be taking off both eyebrows and then filling it in so we have a canvas for the final technique that I'll be showing you today. Now what's great about all of these products is that they are very wear resistant. And by that I mean they stay on for a while. I'm not really sure if they're waterproof specifically. They may be water resistant, so if it rains or you jump in a pool, it might not totally come off, but it's definitely a workout when I'm trying to take it off at night. I mean, as you can see, it's coming off, but it's taking some work. Okay, so I tried to get as much of the product off as I possibly could. There's definitely still some left in my eyebrows. They are not naturally this dark, but I hope that I removed enough product to be able to show you how I apply the Dip Brow Pomade to be able to shape and define my eyebrows. The eyebrow pomade is probably one of my favorite products to use for eyebrows. I really like it because you can easily control how pigmented your eyebrows are, how much product you're applying, shape, definition, things like that. It does take a little bit more practice than using an eyebrow pencil or a gel, just because you're using a brush and you have to be very steady with it. Another great feature about this product is that you only need to use a very small amount per use, which means that you get a lot of use out of your entire product. I've had this for a very long time, and as you can see, I've barely made a dent in it. I mean, this is gonna last me a long time, which is great because it is a little bit more expensive, but the longevity of the product really makes it worth it. So the brush I'll be using today is the Anastasia number 12 brush. So on one side you have the spoolie, on the other side you have your angled brush. It's very thin and very defined, so you can get that perfect shape that you're wanting to achieve with your brows. Like with the previous two products, I will apply the Dip Brow Pomade and then I will shape up with the concealer. So I'm just gonna very lightly dip in, and I hope that it focuses. Focus? There we go. And I'm just gonna take if I can do this without actually looking into the pot, just a very, very small amount. Let's see. And honestly, that's still a bit much. Focus. Haha. Oh. Okay, hi. So I'm just going to get a little bit off the brush. I only need a little bit. And as you can see, there's not much on the brush, a very small amount of product. So again, now this one you have to be really careful because the more you apply the product, the deeper the color of your eyebrow will be. And depending on what kind of shape and definition you're looking for, that could be a good or a bad thing. So I'm taking a very light hand because it's a lot easier to apply more product compared to taking off product. So I'm just very lightly going to start the middle part of my eyebrow, a little bit before the arch, and I'm just going to follow the natural shape of my brow all the way to the tail, and it's a very light application. Then I'm going to start at the top of my brow, the same light hand, and follow the natural shape of my brow. Now before I start on the inner portion of my eyebrow, I'm going to take the product and I'm going to start filling in at the middle and in portion of my eyebrow. Now with any remaining product, I'm going to lightly define the top portion of my brow and then the bottom portion, and adding a little bit more product, not at the very center and at the innermost corner of my brow, but a little bit to the right of it. And then with any remaining product, I'm just going to lightly flick in an upwards manner to get some even product distribution throughout my brow. Now usually I don't ever have to dip back into the pomade, so I'm going to take the spoolie part of the applicator and I'm just going to very lightly brush throughout my brow to again get that nice distribution of product. And I don't know if you noticed, but there's no large clumps. I guess they weren't technically large, but there's not clumps of product as there were with the gel, but you do get that nice definition, especially within your brow hairs as well as on your skin. And when I apply this, I have found that it lasts all day. And so when I have to get up early in the morning for classes like 7 a.m. and then I go to bed at 1 a.m., my eyebrows still look pretty great and defined. So I definitely recommend the pomade. Again, this does take a lot of practice to learn how much product to apply and not applying too much product. Now, you may like the complete solid one color throughout your eyebrow. If so, instead of starting at the middle region of your brow like I did, you can start here at the innermost corner. But in my opinion, I believe that having this ombre effect, ombre
is from here, it's blonde to brown. Ombre is from brown to blonde.
So a more natural brow, in my opinion, is lighter in this innermost corner and then darker throughout. If you don't like that look, by all means, apply more product. This is just how I like to achieve my brows. If you want to fluff up your brows, you can take the spoolie and in an upwards motion, fluff up your brows and then set it with a clear brow gel. I don't really like to do that. I've found that my eyebrows typically stay in place whenever I apply the product, but if you want to make sure that they are there, you can use a clear brow gel. There is a difference between my two brows, and so what I'd like to do now is just to shape this one up a little bit and clean it up, and then there we go. So to conceal underneath the brows and define the shape a little bit more, I'm going to take the same brush and same concealer, and with the same technique, I'm going to touch up underneath the brows and a little bit above the brow. So I've applied a little bit too much concealer here. All I'm gonna do to fix that is take my finger and I'm just gonna lightly smudge and remove some product without really altering my brow or my eyeshadow, as much as I can. Okay, so I've gone ahead and applied the product to both of my eyebrows. That way they're even, they don't look kind of off. It's late and I'm not really going to be going anywhere, so I'm not too worried about making sure that they're nice and even. They might, I think they are a little bit lopsided, but that's okay. We're going for it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'll be posting different tutorials and tips and tricks that I've learned, as well as product reviews. If you are new, hello, thank you for joining me. If you're a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for tuning in. I am so happy that you're here on this journey with me. If you'd like to check it out, my Instagram is at Madison_Lee_beauty. My Twitter is at Maddie_Henson. I will link both of those below, as well as all the products that I've used today in the tutorial, as well as everything I'm just wearing on my face. If you have any other questions or suggestions or comments, please leave a comment below or DM me or tweet me, anybody will reach me. I am all ears. Again, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys!